Yeah, so I think we are live. So welcome everyone to this session here. Yeah, we have we want to talk about the Intune stuff that happened at Ignite. I guess that's the main topic here today in this session, and I have a lot of great guys here with me in this session. Joery, Steve, James, and Shady. So thanks, guys, for joining. And thanks everyone who's listening in. And just to highlight that, we want to have questions. So we are monitoring the LinkedIn messages and chats. And I guess I can also open the Twitter live stream if you want to chat there. But if you have questions, just please go ahead and straight ask them. And yeah. So one thing that I would like to start with is the experience, Steve, that you had going there in person to Chicago and Ignite. How was it?
Which experience? The beanie that didn't fit my head, or the steak that I wasn't happy with? I had a lot of experience. No, it was it was great. It was first time back at Ignite in since 2019. I got to speak on the expo floor. I had a great time and talked to a lot of interesting folks. So I think it was great.
Great. And I think a couple of us guys were not there in person. James, did you attend online or were you there? I didn't see you.
No, was not there. Jealous. It didn't work out for me. I definitely want to be there next year though. But watched all the good sessions online. It's really good. Sad I couldn't be there.
Yeah.
We'll see you in March.
Yeah, see you in March,
Yes.
right? At the summit.
Yep.
Joery, how about you?
Yes. The main thing I went there for is obviously the new features on Intune that we may or may not have ever heard of before. Not many very new things for us, I guess, that showed up, but really interesting stuff. Hot patch was one of the hot topics there. And of course, the word Copilot and AI were mentioned about a gazillion times. So obviously, that was interesting. Looking also forward to the multiple accounts for MAM, which also be a very good thing. And then I guess, device inventory would be a nice addition to the customers without to have to pay an add-on license for a new cool feature. So yeah, that also, and obviously Copilot for security with the Intune plugin. So I'm doing also some sessions on that. It's a very interesting product. Can save you a lot of time, cost you an arm and a leg, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, it can get very pricey, right? Very fast. So you have to monitor that and act accordingly.
A piece of advice: just enable it and use it, and delete your SEUs, and you'll be fine.
I thought you were going to say, hope somebody else is paying for it. Is what I thought you were going to say.
But if you do, you'll be fine.
Professional, I think in prod you got to leave it on, but yeah, for anyone playing with it, spin them up, spin them down, and watch your credit card statement very carefully.
Yeah, Shady, how about you?
Well, I am as jealous as James, if not more, actually. However, I think I mean, from the posts you guys posted on LinkedIn, the pictures and the videos, in spirit, I was with you guys, of course. But I just watched all these sessions. I was really attentive to it. And if I have to choose one that stood out from all those pictures and online sessions, it would be the Windows 365 link. On the session, on the online session, all I saw is just the presentation. However, the presenters, which were Lior and Rob at that time when they presented, I did not see them, but Yuri has sent a picture once. Lior picked up the Windows 365 link device in his hand, and I actually have on one screen the session, on the other screen is the LinkedIn. I was like, God, that's just I just remember this forever, because I was just really wanted to be there, guys. But thank you for all those posts and pictures.
Yeah, we did had a lot of opportunities to take pictures, right? So just let me show you one thing that I've taken with a colleague of mine about from the what is it? The Windows 365 device. There it is. Let's see. There we are. Yeah. Let me just. Okay, it's not really visible here, but I
There it
did
is.
hold it in
There
the
it is.
hand. So yeah.
Yeah, if Steve moves his head a little bit, maybe we can see it.
I have a lot of other pictures as well from the Windows 365 device. I did hold it in my hands and was like, okay, that's really small. And I used I don't know if you're aware of the Steam Link device.
Yeah.
I mean, it really had the same measures. It really weighed the same. It really had that feel. So I was thinking about why I am not deploying the Windows 365 to that Steam link, right? So it was really great. And I also did a lot of pictures from the back just to, let me just scroll it in. So it has USB control. It has DisplayPort access and USB-C as well, of course. So all these modern connection ports, right? So and there's even one more picture from the front. It's really small, guys.
It's a neat little box.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
what do you guys guess is the use case for such device for enterprises or companies?
This is a very interesting question. But I'll let you guys first talk about it. Then I'll tell you about my customer talk that we had earlier. But please, I mean, you were there first. So
I mean, I think it's I think it's definitely it's a reference machine as much as it's a product. Like kind of the way the Surface was supposed to be a reference device in 2012 to say this is what OEM should build. So I think it's them embracing Microsoft Windows 365. Some of the folks I spoke to said their first use case for this would be shared devices, kiosks, places where you wouldn't want to sit a full PC. But I see a lot of use cases for it, and especially if the OEMs start making their own, which I would imagine would probably cost less. That's always what's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, I think you get a full featured box where you don't have to worry about the personal device. So I mean, I see a lot of opportunity with it for those using Windows 365. Windows 365 versus something else, that's a different argument that I don't really want to have. Yeah. So,
I mean, I saw the potential use cases in, like you say, kind of shared areas, maybe like healthcare, with like frontline, or possibly even like shipping them instead of a full device out to like contractors. So you'll still, there's a piece of hardware that you're controlling, but all of the work's then done in the cloud. So it kind of reduces the risk perspective of them running that from a BYD device of their own. Well, those are the two things that kind of sprung to mind for me.
I got also one. We used to have a security firm as a customer, and they source out actually a lot of guys that sitting in front of the gates before you can get in, and they used to have a PC with nothing on there, and they RDP'd to their actual workstation, and instead of placing their full desktops or providing them from a laptop, that Windows 365 link thing is ideal for that kind of situations. It's a previous customer, but I knew from a friend of mine that I rolled into accidentally, and he works there, that they are also they are in the migration of to Windows 365 now. And I told him, I said, look at the device. and he went like nuts. He went, "This is what we need." I think he said he's not the IT manager, but he has quite enough say in the company, and he said that they were going to change plans just because of that, depending on delivery times here in Belgium, of course. But
I think the people that look at it and go, "Why would I need that?" You probably don't. Like,
Yeah.
but the people that go,
Yeah.
"I know where that would be great for." That's who it's for.
Well, it's funny at the booth, right? Already, some folks, everyone tries to push the limits. So immediately, folks are like, "Well, can I wipe it and run full Windows on it? Can I do this?" I'm saying, why does everything have to do everything? And then you turn that into a critique. I mean, that's a whole other thing. Someone said, "I hate that it has the barrel plug and not USB-C charge." I said, who cares? Where are you taking it?
There's one on the back.
Yeah, they didn't like the thing on the right, so they're not gonna. I mean, that's with everything. But
Welcome to the
people
internet.
like to complain. That's right.
I spoke with like 2 customers, and one of them, they had already a use case for a Windows 365 link, and was like, frontline worker is very typical. But the second use case, which was interesting to me, from a customer, and I would love to hear your feedback on that. So the customer, he is on a on-prem, or he has CCM, CCM and co-management with Intune and so on. So and their Windows version is like Windows 10, and it's pretty old. So now they are doing upgrade and migration to Intune and so on. So, and his use case was like an idea. So instead of replacing all those devices, because some of them are already old, and and some of them you have to reinstall them, which downtime, blah blah blah. Instead of doing all of that, just buy the Windows 365 link and distribute it to all the devices, to all the users, which the device is already automatically managed in Intune. So technically, all you have to do is create a profile in Intune, and that's it. Actually, when we were talking about that, I was like, that saves a lot of time, a lot of investment. I mean, with zero downtime, it's invisible. I mean, it's incredible. I would just love to hear your thoughts about that, guys.
We don't even need autopilot at that point
Yes,
because,
yes.
like with the boot, Windows 365 boot, that's a little bit of a pain. But yeah, that's a good call for that one. I like that.
So so when we were at the booth and talking with the experts there, the most use case that they saw and the people that they were talking with was this front worker scenario, or this. So there was one thing. So he was thinking about large office, and every office desk had that device or that link on that desk available. There was one keyboard and one Bluetooth mouse, for example, right? And they just could log in onto that device. The final configuration did really depend only on Intune, but everything else was just so easy to use. And I love the idea, by the way, to just be able to change the user that's working on that device without touching the device itself as an IT admin, right? And it's really easy to provision them. And I don't see a future where we won't use that. So I think the people will really love that device in the future. It's just easy. It's just, I mean, if you, so there are 2 buzzwords, I think, at Ignite. It was first cloud native and zero trust. And cloud native is definitely fulfilled with this Windows 365 link device.
yeah, definitely. And then that the thing that goes next to it is that zero trust lab that we did, Ugur, with the Invoke assessment PowerShell from Clay. It gives you, like, in a minute, a result to go cloud native or cloud first, and then remove or discard your on-prem stuff as much as you can. Yeah, I think the way is set right now, and like almost everything is in place to give you actually the seamless experience that you have on-prem, but then full on cloud. So yeah, go ahead.
Quick question. I want to know what you guys think real quick. I sent this out there. So can you imagine the same type of device, but in an extremely thin laptop body with LTE, but the same premise. Like if it just booted to Windows 360, like that's what I kind of thought in my head.
So like a Chromebook that did Windows 365 boot.
Yeah. You got to give it LTE, but then like, I mean, that might be some, I mean, if you're adopting it,
then you are online everywhere.
That's what I thought when I saw it. But like, I'll take 2% if they decide to make it. And
cherry on top of it, eSIM card. So you don't really
got
it. And it's already, you can manage eSIM cards within Intune. I mean, and that's just perfect.
Good point. Good point.
Steve, I mean, this is really spot on idea.
I got a ton of ideas. They're free, but that's.
And some of them are scary.
Tell Microsoft about it. You should get a profit from this idea.
We'll see.
Yeah,
but
I like the business idea, Steve. We should definitely talk with Microsoft about that.
Trademark it, Steve. Trademark it.
So there were a lot of other topics, and I see that we are already 50 minutes in, and Windows 365 is definitely one of the biggest topics there, right? But security or Copilot for security, excuse me.
What's it called this week?
Present. Yeah.
Some nice stuff regarding that, obviously. It's a cool thing. You can do cool things with that. It's going to save you a lot of time if you have a dedicated security team that is looking out for you with Defender and Intune policies, etc., etc. And then again, the buzzword zero trust in that order. You will find that it will be very convenient. It will save you a lot of time. Pretty expensive though, like 1 FTE per month for 1 SCU. So yeah, I don't think for SMBs pricing wise that it's okay. But yeah, top tip: just enable it, do what you need to do, and throw those SCUs away. To set them up again takes like 30 seconds, and you're up and running again. And if you want to keep your prompt history, make sure you enable it every 90 days, just for a second, and your history will be kept, and it will cost you like 50 cents to get your history. And if you do regular prompts as an Intune administrator, you can put them in a prompt library. So if you need something, just change the details like PC name, group ID, whatever, policy name. Just run them again, and it will save you a lot of time.
I know there's people across the community, especially within security and Defender, that have put together GitHub repos of KQL queries and stuff. Are we expecting that there's going to be this community resources around good prompts to help people?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. And from what I'm experiencing from using it, it does get smarter. It's true. It's not a lie. So I sometimes I set it up again, and I try a different prompt or the same prompt with just a small bit of detail that it could not figure out last month. It can figure out it now. Maybe it's not always correct. Hey, it's still AI, but it just learns from what people put in. So I encourage you to build in prompts. Just ask them anything, and it will learn.
You said it's expensive, right? And the thing I want to bring up, because I always believe there's a difference in expensive and overpriced with everything, right? So, and I think it's also expensive. It depends who's asking about it. But so I guess the thing is, can it at this point, for a company who has budget, or maybe instead of the full-time resource, right? Do we see this really benefiting the small IT shop that's running into that needs the help? Is it at that point where it can, make financial sense for someone?
I think we're not there at that tipping point yet.
Mm-hmm.
I would not say overpriced, because like I said, if you delete them and you just use them for what you need, it's pretty okay. But on the other hand, like I got it on my tenant. Sometimes I get a ticket from the guys from the service desk, and they say, "Yeah, we have customer A, and he has suddenly 4 conflicting policies in Intune. If you go
Right.
check them in Intune and you say device status and you click on the conflict, sometimes it does not show. So and then you have to need to look for it manually.
Right.
You can just ask it in Copilot, and then it takes like 10 seconds, and you get the conflicting policies.
Can it remediate yet or not yet?
No, it cannot do anything.
Okay.
I can
just
show you some stuff.
Yeah.
Let me share the screen.
But that's a good point, right? How long would it take you to find it versus your other daily tasks? So that's kind of a good point, right? The value looks like what Lisa said here: the value versus the expense. So good point.
To put that into a different context, just quickly while Joe's getting stuff ready, the M365 Copilot, looks expensive for a year, 1 year but if you break that down, it has to save somebody like 15 minutes a month. That's it. Yeah, it kind of pays for itself at that point.
Yeah, definitely. Is the screen visible?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just. I already did a few prompts. Let's see. So here is a conflict. So I got an Intune policy with an emergency office update to patch a 0-day a few months ago, and it has conflicting settings with. And I just asked, do I have conflicting settings in this policy? Because that's what shows me in the Intune portal, and it just lines up where the settings are. So the conflicting settings, and these settings are all conflicting. And then this takes like 10 seconds to run, and you instantly know where the conflicts are. So that is one convenience that I see very, very handy. And this saves me a lot of time. And just like I said, if I have an issue like that with the customer, I just call them and said, can I really quickly enable this? It will cost you less in search time than those few minutes that SEU is there for me to look up where the conflict is. So
Good point.
So and just delete him afterwards, and you'll be fine. But it will
You
save
think
you a lot of
two?
information.
You think 2 is sufficient for stuff like this to spin up? 2 is okay.
Just one, and when you are
just
out,
one. Okay.
just one, and when you run out of SU powers, so to speak, it will tell you, and it says, "Hey, you run out of resources, and just wait an hour, and you can go back again." The only thing is when your prompt is dead on there's some built-in prompts, and they exist out of 7 built-in sub prompts. You have to give it a name, and it stops at the 6th because you ran out of power. Yeah, then you have to wait an hour and you do it all over again. So it does not initially go back from 6 and then finishes it. So, and that, is it a disadvantage? Yeah, but with one SEU, there is a prompt in the Copilot for Security thing who can analyze an ID, an incident ID. So you just paste the ID in there, and it cannot finish on one SEU. And that's a built-in prompt to analyze this. So if you do actual Defender incidents, vulnerabilities, and alerts analyzation with Copilot for Security, then Microsoft is right because you need 3. And if you are doing this and your colleague is doing this, then the SEUs will run out very soon. And 3 SEUs is about $10,000 a month. So
that's nothing.
I have seen cheaper products.
I mean, that's we're obviously talking about Intune here, but that's kind of the power of the security Copilot stuff, is that it sits underneath not only Intune but Entra from an identity perspective, and then Defender from the security perspective as well, and it can just bring all of that information together. And having one person doing all of that does a lot of time and likely completely different skill sets.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. There on this Copilot stuff, there was one thing that really was great for people that use EPM in the enterprises or Intune Suite in general. For EPM, there was a nice example so if you have a elevation request made by users in your environment, the problem for most people is, can they trust the file that has been, or that the people want to execute, right? And Copilot for Intune, or the Copilot in Intune would help you there and analyze and cross-check with, I don't know, other vendors, VirusTotal and whatever, to just verify that the file is and the file hash is really, not malicious in any case. And I think that's a real nice example that I can work with. But it's not worth that money right now, to be
We saw
honest.
that demo at Ignite. Now I recall, and it was a cool demo. And the other thing is the plugins that are available for Copilot for security in general. You just thick them on. All of them is a big word, but it makes sense on which you need to do your tasks. And the custom plugins and the third-party plugins are also coming very hard. The ServiceNow plugin is cool. It really is. And that's the only external I have played around with for a little bit. But yeah, the custom plugin. I think there's also already a GitHub repository with custom plugins. I need to try them out, but it's taking off, regardless of the price. But it's taking off, and yeah, the Entra ID plugin is also very powerful. So you can ask actually a different product, and then you're all right. You're good to go.
A follow-up question, actually on all. So, what do you think of Copilot for security automation? So, Copilot for security automation. Do you think this is visible, risky, especially if you can, remediate conflict in the background automatically, even without realizing it? Risky.
Yeah, I have a hard. I think Copilot is nowhere near where it could be, where it should be. For example, right? The Steve has asked about does it execute? It doesn't. It doesn't remediate issues. It does. It just shows you the. So what it basically does, it runs the data from Graph from the background and shows that visibly to the UI with a kind of a chat, right?
Yeah, this is the current situation, but I'm talking if we have such such a feature where everything is remediated in the background without an admin involvement.
That's going to change the industry. That would change. You're if you look at your your MDR solutions out there, right, that are human driven, even if the data, I think that's kind of half the value prop right now. So if you were to look at the price of these SCUs and running it, if you were to add the remediation and action, then it becomes, there's not a question of, I trust a computer over a human most days of the week, especially when it comes to remediating against breach, or it sees something against the standard. I think that's the other half of the value prop.
Do you think are we going in that direction?
Has to. There's no possibility where it won't do that. There's no outcome where that won't happen.
You can already set Defender to automatically remediate threats already, right? So, but right now, like, it can do that. If you, depending on your risk profile, you might not want it to do that. But being able to define, okay, well, if there's something that is genuine, if it happens in the middle of the night and there's no one online to have see the ticket in a minute, that time can really make the difference.
Yeah, and analyzing an issue or the cause of an issue is already like halfway. That's already great, right? And if you get to the part where it can execute that and help us really effectively, I think the M365 people have now agents. They do a kind of execution. I would like to see that in Intune as well, but limited to things that I can pre-configure, not that it just does things on its own, right? So
run books. You'll probably have run books most likely. That'll be the first iteration of it.
Again, I think there's probably some actions that you might not care about running automatically. If there's something that, what's the difference between remediations currently? You could set them up on a schedule. If you've got a remediation that's running every day, well, if there's an issue, why can that not run immediately?
Exactly.
It could be triggered.
So Copilot, also relies completely of the data quality in the back end, right? So, but data is, I think, one of the most important things there was at Ignite. And there was also one thing that has been announced for the advanced analytics feature. So advanced analytics gets a nice update with multi-device queries. Any opinions on that?
Single device query is really cool. I've used it occasionally to, I wonder what this reg key is set to. Like being able to do that, being able to do that for fleet of devices. I think that's something that people have been asking for some time. People are going to talk about the price and the fact that it's part of Intune Suite.
That's one of the standalone features, I believe. So, I mean, look, with Intune Suite and the price, I want there to be more value. I'd like it to be more compelling. But I think the big thing is, as soon as we saw a device query in a single device, it's cool, but it's like, that's not the whole story. So yeah, for the multi-device, I think it's great. I think one challenge, not a challenge, but a expectation is going to be, hey, I want to look at my whole fleet, all the devices that are 23H2, this patch, and have Chrome. I get that back, and yes, we're going to be able to take action on it. But everyone who talked to me at Ignite wants to make a group. They want the smart groups. They want that. And of course, that data is a different mechanism. It is not going to go through the Microsoft Graph. So I will not be able to create an intro group off of that. So that, I think, it was the first thing everyone, I mean, I must have answered that question 20 times. So that to me will be interesting. But I do think the ability to have those queries and run them across the tenant, especially if you could save them, is going to help with just ongoing day-to-day of Intune, like having those problem groups or whatever the current issue is. So I think it's going to be good. I mean,
I think it's going to save help desk people tons of time.
Yeah. But yeah, if something happens on the devices, and like you said, James, to look up a registry key or something like that, and I cannot write one single letter of KQL, so I ask to get my queries with Copilot, and okay, yeah, I can read it a little bit, but I can see the errors also, which makes sense, and then it's just like some bracket or something that's wrong, but then it just runs the query and it does what it does, and that I think is super cool.
Well, I think you have a flow where if you're doing that on a single device, right? So you're looking at a single device, you find something wrong, you look at a registry, you find a problem. Then to say, okay, Copilot, write me a KQL query against my whole fleet. I want to know who else has this. Yeah. So I think that's the next piece that's really nice with this.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, what they also introduced was the remote action stuff. So you can run scripts, or you can run remote actions or start remote actions based on the response that you get from the queries, right? So that was really a missing part, because I was like, okay, I got that response back. I now see the data. I know maybe what the problem or underlying problem is, but what can I really do with it right now, right? Can I start synchronizing? Trigger a sync with that device, I don't know, run a specific script on that device or on that fleet of devices. And that's something that I really, really like to see. And that's something really coming up soon, I guess. Was there any date on that? Do you guys know that?
I missed that.
I was told by the end it's GA now. So we should be getting it in our tenants soon.
December,
soon, hopefully.
I saw a lot of dates, but I think, did I miss that? I think it was December, but not. Yeah. If that was a slide that I'm printing in my head right now, and it will be rolled out very gradually.
I think it's actually, I think Windows is, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Windows is first, and then the multi-platform is perhaps Q1. Yeah, I thought I recall something like that, but I could be.
Cross-plat device inventory. So obviously device inventory and the device query being different things. But device inventory preview early 2025 is what the stuff says.
So yeah, James, you just picked the perfect topic up, the cross-platform inventory. Let's talk about that. So let me just share my screen. There was one nice post by Lior made about that topic. Let me see if that works. Awesome, perfect. Yeah, so cross-platform inventory is coming, and it seems like it will support every platform already manageable with Intune. So that's something I also look forward to. It looks like it's some kind of limited. I'm not sure what exact properties are going to be collected with this, but I see a lot of potential to use that for maybe set up assignment filters or create groups based on specific attributes. So there's a lot of to work with.
I think it's useful to get data out of your fleet. I think I've worked with plenty of customers whose major problem is, we don't really know what's out there or how things are configured, and it's all just a bit of a, you've got legacy devices that were set up and enrolled in different ways, and just getting that information is really hard, and hopefully this sort of stuff will make that a lot easier.
I just saw the question in the chat. Let me just pop that up. So someone asked, I'm curious if you can run more than 100 devices via a remote device action, as 100 is the current limit with a bulk action, right? So I'm guessing you're referring to the device query topic that we talked earlier. So that's something I'm also really interested in. We didn't get really a detail on that, right? So imagine a larger enterprise with, I don't know, more than 100,000 devices, maybe 10,000 devices. Let's start with that. And you start to roll out a script or try to gather any data from that number of devices. So I expect that to be really hard. But I'm not sure of any numbers. I think they named no numbers or limitations.
Yeah, I mean, if the bulk action, I know you're talking about the 100 limit. I think what'll be interesting, like I said, this query, this inventory, this is a separate mechanism that pulls in the data. But I guess Intune actions is the same. So the 100 kind of doesn't make sense in this context. So I wonder if that's going to be a bottleneck or if that's going to change. Because especially when you talk multi-platform, which we don't even know yet, you have to imagine an abstract layer, right? So if I run across my fleet and see that I have unencrypted devices, and I say an action would be to encrypt them. Now I'm talking BitLocker, FileVault, iOS encryption, and whatever Android uses. But it's that's going to be interesting to see, and I can't imagine that's going to stay 100, because now you're back to it. I don't want to say being useless, but not very valuable. And I did check; it is, at least the US. It's Advanced Analytics is a standalone, but it's $5 USD per user per month.
It's the most expensive one if you buy it separately. That
is expensive. Yeah,
I think probably provides quite a lot of value.
It does. It does.
Okay, there's another question about the multi-account MAM and ETA. No, sorry, no ETA for that, if I'm not mistaken, guys.
I just went and had a look on the roadmap, because I the Microsoft 365 roadmap, because I know it's been on there, and I can't find it. So it's disappeared again, but it's been on and off a couple of times recently, probably for the last couple of years. So we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully. And then, I see it says PowerShell script. It depends. It's not just going to be remediation actions. There's going to be other actions as well, based on what we saw. So we'll have to see. That'll be one of the details we're going to have to get our hands on. We're going to have to play with. And I'm sure between all of us here, there's going to be content around it in some capacity.
Yeah. So, did anyone of you guys join the private preview of that Advanced Analytics new features? I guess there was one, but it was very short. I missed it as well. So
I missed it.
Yeah, I missed it too.
There's a screenshot of on one of the blogs, which is searching the Windows event where provider name is the Windows Update Client event ID, and then so which devices have had the patch applied but not yet rebooted, and then actioning that and selecting a device action on that.
Yeah.
As far as the more than 100 thing, right now, your guess is as good as ours. I think.
Yeah. There's one more comment. Yes, the multi-device query mode actions indeed, but I believe in the background does it not just run a remediation script for? Okay, Steve just answered that question. By the way. Yeah. Okay. Just saw it now on appearing my screen.
It's all we'll see. We'll see is the
we'll see.
is the answer right now.
Yeah, a lot of stuff about Intune was we will see how that really. I mean, just wait until they release it, until we see that in the what's new page, and then we can talk about more concretely, right? So let's see. So I do have a lot of more topics on the agenda. The ARM64 stuff. EPM now also supports ARM64, but they also, and I really like that, they also mentioned that a couple of times in different sessions. They always said the ARM64 devices are always natively supported inside Intune. Do you guys have any experiences with ARM64 in Intune?
We are starting to get them in, but in our own company, so with ourselves. And I heard the cloud agents who are installing the PCs, they were saying words I'm not gonna repeat here. So yeah, but now it's going quite well because we did not have all the we set them to device preparation instead of autopilot, which was a lot better than regular autopilot. So we use device preparation for the RMs. And we need to dig up some special install files, Cisco VPN and stuff like that. Things. Sorry, but
I've been doing a lot of it. I mean, I was helping organizations deploy ARM with the first Surface X, the SQ1 chip, and it was all about the assignments, right? Making sure x86 apps don't go to it during autopilot. They got the filter now, which is really nice, built in. But I think that's the name of the game. I don't like the ARM being branded as Copilot PCs. I think that is such a miss.
They have an MPU.
Yeah, so that's a miss because there's other benefits of ARM, but I haven't had really any problems in Intune with them as long as the software assignment's correct.
It's the software. The rest of it works fine, but it's definitely the software. I'm anxiously waiting. I ordered mine 3 months ago. Still not here, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's really that emulation layer. I mean, I was a big supporter of Windows on ARM. I wanted to win. It's really the same story, right? Unless the app is optimized for it, it's just not there yet. So it's not this time around. I really hope it continues to develop. But one of two things has to happen: either Prism, right, the emulation layer has to get better, or more apps have to get on board with a native, binary.
I think it's going to force the hand of third-party vendors to actually start supporting it.
I think we needed a device like this to kickstart all the rest around it.
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, since you said Copilot Plus PC, Steve, and I'm conscious of how much time we've got, but I'm going to drop the word recall.
Oh God! Okay, I need to leave, guys.
It's now by default. If you enroll it in your Intra, it's by default disabled.
Yep.
And you can not granularly, but you can set it up in 3 modes. I've got them, but user control on or something like that. I saw the on the Surface booth. It's the first question I asked, so I got a demo, which was even not. I think it's not there yet in the insider preview version, but it was a Microsoft image with that new features on it, and what you can protect and granulate, filter and stuff like that. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. I won't say you're on full control, but you're in control for 80%, and that's 80 more than 6 months ago.
That's good.
Yeah, I saw the Learn page with a bunch of what are currently OMA URIs of ways to control those things. And that's obviously what people needed. It would have been nice if that was spoken about when it was first announced.
Yeah, and maybe I'm one of the 1%ers, but that's actually the function I'm most looking out to when I get my Copilot PC.
I really want to play with it as well. From an accessibility perspective, knowing what I did 5 minutes ago, really useful.
Yeah, definitely.
It'll be powerful. It's going to be from a corporate standpoint, the GRC and compliance. I mean, that's going to be the nightmare, even with regular Copilot and the data governance. I mean, that's a whole other conversation. But like anything else, it's always going to be interesting. You know, we have our thoughts, and then I always say my thoughts mean very little compared to the customer's thoughts and the feedback. So I'm interested to see what happens when that gets out there. But it's an interesting feature. I mean, it's going to be incredible either way.
There is a response on the iOS multi-account MAM with a preview available starting July 25th.
2025 for iOS. Okay. Did they mention Android? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Probably not. Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Thanks. Apple Vision Pro.
Recall just put it off point.
It really did. But I mean, the topics are not getting really better, I think.
Go ahead.
I mean, Apple Vision Pro. So I saw a lot of people have. I'm sorry. I mean, there was an update there at Ignite. So I mean, we have to talk about that stuff. So there are people. I mean, maybe 1%, maybe less in enterprises. Yeah, that are using those Apple Vision Pro devices, and they had problems accessing company data because of compliance issues, right? So they didn't get any compliance, couldn't access them. But it's now resolved, when I understand it correctly. There is an authenticator application for those. And the role MFA thingy, it's all going through it and should work now.
Well, the current solution we've used for that, right, in the meantime, is the policy where you say, don't bring an experimental $3,000 headset into my organization to check your teams, Bob. Get rid of that thing. So this will be a nice alternative, but we have that today just to remind everyone. It's like all the problems IT has to deal with. I would be like, get that thing off your head and get out of my office.
I think the beautiful thing about it now, like you said, Ugur, the compliance was a problem. But now through the app protection policy, now you can get it compliant.
Yeah.
And for this announcement, I actually predicted it like 5 or 6 months ago, because at that time Apple released that they are adding in the settings app within the Apple Vision Pro, the MDM. And I was like, okay, it has MDM in the settings now. That means Intune is able to manage it. That was just like a news. Now they just announced it.
Matter of time.
Yeah,
are they available in Apple Business Manager?
Policy, which it's a complement to it. So it was a good announcement, actually. It's good.
I was going to say, Luca has a question. Ironically, no, Apple didn't cancel the Vision. Microsoft canceled the HoloLens. Yeah. So ironically, that's why they decided to implement this. I think they were waiting to make sure, and now they're going to bring the policy to Apple Vision Pro. So same fate as the Windows Phone, unfortunately. But
at IP.
But just the final thing on the Apple Vision is that it's classed as a specialty device, so it's it's an additional Intune Suite license.
That's true.
Hey, if you can afford the Vision Pro, then you can afford.
There is
true. That's true. I mean, Intune Suite. The thing I'll say about I think the winners now that we have the inventory, I think Cloud PKI, EPM, and the advanced analytics And if you can add more value to those, it's a better value prop for folks. So yeah, I'd be interested to see it become worth it. I would like to see it win in the market.
I mean, remote helps, going multi-platform as well, so
it is. They're going to add the unattended, I think, at some point as well, which is a big feature request. So yeah, we'll just have to keep an eye on it.
Yep.
So what do you guys think, Apple Vision Pro or Meta 3? From integration wise?
None of the above.
The Meta 3
these are not enterprise devices.
With the Intune. I mean, I think
Oh,
in terms of, from Windows integration, not from Intune. I think it's.
Don't let me get my V1 Vive out of my cupboard.
It's the same problem I have with AI. I need folks to stop domain joining before I will have that conversation. Like, both conversations can't exist. I can't talk to someone about, well, we still need our domain, and then they want to talk about AI and headsets. It's like, you can't have both. The AI is going to tell you to get off the domain. That's the first thing it's going to do. Like,
you don't. When can I domain join my Vision Pro? Like, we need it for our organization.
I'm telling you, these things bother my brain so much. Where it's like, we're in this generation, we're going to manage the Vision Pro, and then it's like, I don't know if I can cloud join yet. It's like, guys, figure it out.
Yeah, and then in 3 months, Microsoft will get an Intune connector for that.
So, but the funny part is, I actually bought my Quest 3 yesterday and just received it today. And the only reason why I did that was because of the Windows 365 application that comes to Quest.
Ooh,
it's nice.
And I'm never going to use that Quest 3 in Starbucks and sit there in I don't know, at the airport and waiting for my flight, right? I'm never going to do that, but I like just the idea, and I just want to play around with it, I guess.
Yeah, but just to give you a flashback, when the mobile phone came out, everybody said, I'm not going to sit in the airport with a phone next to my head.
It's true.
But when they get less bulky, like you have a second head running on your forehead, then I will think about it.
It's true.
Ray-Ban from Meta. I mean, it's now it's less bulky. It has more features, and it's more like a VR, I think, rather than a mixed reality.
Yeah.
I think so too.
We're to avoid the 365 link thing again, but I've forgotten my phone one day a couple of years ago, and I used Samsung Dex all day, and it was actually okay. But I could just run the Windows 365 app on my phone, and if I've got a monitor that is USB-C, have a keyboard and mouse, and I can just connect to my Windows 365 box just through my phone. It's incredibly flexible. Would I want to use it day to day all the time? Probably not. But
then again,
in a pinch.
A colleague of mine worked with Windows 365 on the screen of his Tesla. Was not that the user experience was not that good, but hey, it worked.
I tried connecting to Teams on mine once, and it just told me no. So I gave up at that point.
If it's driving for you, then do your emails, and it's.
Well, you can't drive while having it up on the screen, even audio.
That's not fun. That's not fun. So never mind.
Living on the edge.
But what about driving while you are having Quest 3 on your head?
You better be driving Tesla.
Accidents about to happen, definitely.
How can I domain join my car?
Okay.
There was a question in the chat some time ago around the admin protection coming in 24H2.
There it is.
The question wasn't there, so if you're still watching, please ask the question and I'll get back to it. But I think just to kind of circle around that and realize time, but Microsoft are going hard on the secure by default stuff, which I think is really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think CrowdStrike thing caused quite a few issues, and it's good that they sound like everyone's learning from it.
Intune's a security play. I mean, like that's the big thing. Intune or device management in general is now a security. It's the device pillar of zero trust, right? I hate the buzzword, but it's real. I've been talking about this a lot. We're done trying to, we're not going to control devices for the sake of controlling them. Users are more sophisticated. They have phones. They know how to download apps. The idea now is to not stop worrying about the taskbar and the wallpaper and restricting. It's like, is the device secure and can someone be productive on it? And that's the first mission. So yeah, Intune is a security tool now.
It always
has been.
Always
Yeah,
has
sure.
been.
Yeah.
We've just created these silos that are now becoming a problem because nobody's
got
talking to each other.
Yeah.
Identity is security. It's security. Endpoint management is network is security. Like it's a team sport.
Yeah. No, it is. And then the built-in admin stuff, the secure by default. So no, I think they're good moves. You see here how to use it from end user and how to assign it to end user.
Has different.
I missed it. Hold on. Okay.
How's it different from EPM? Good question. EPM is about allowing standard users to run stuff that is tricky or annoying. The admin protection is about securing an account that has actual admin rights.
Yeah.
And doing least privilege. Unless anybody else has got some.
No, that's perfectly summarized. That's why I did standard user versus local admin user. The EPM protecting the standard user context, and then the other one protecting the local admin context. That's basically the difference.
So
there's a lot behind the scenes. Rudy broke it down pretty good, as he always does. But he's got the whole thing laid out of how it works. But yeah, that's the idea.
Rudy breaks it down and then crushes it into a fine paste.
I know. It's unbelievable. A little mortar and pestle. It's just, okay.
So there's only one bullet point left, and we are almost at 60 minutes. So let's finish with the only announcement. Wait, there were two announcements for macOS. One was the EPM support for macOS is coming. And the second one is the certificate storage, so you can switch between user and device certificate store, which is great. So there was a lot of issues in the past, but that comes, I guess, in the next Intune update, right, in December. But I'm not sure. There were no dates.
Not sure.
Yeah, no dates.
Yeah.
There's a couple of follow-ups on what we were just saying. So. It's not giving normal users admin rights.
Correct. That would be EPM. Yeah.
Oh
wait. Yeah.
And then, EPM is a full replacement for local admin permissions.
Yeah. Well, we don't want local admin permission. I mean, we really don't want that. Especially with how robust EPM is getting between the requests and the granularity of the processes, right? I think we don't want local admin for the most part. If anything, laps would be even better than that to get into a box. So I just think we don't want local admin.
I mean, local admins should be almost like your break glass, but for a device.
Yes.
There shouldn't be really any reasons you need to do that. EPM is trying to get around those applications that are particularly funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the macOS EPM, to answer that question, is in the Book of News.
Yeah, it should be there. It wasn't mentioned in 2 or 3 sessions there at Ignite.
Yeah, I didn't see a date.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, but there's public info, and I think it's in the Book of News. Just Google it, and then you'll find it. It's publicly available now.
So I think we should start with the closing of this session. We are at exactly 60 minutes. Just any last words from you guys?
Thank you for having me. It was something different to fill up the evening without putting the kids to bed. I let it all over to my wife. So thank you, guys. Let's do this again.
Yeah, it's always fun to see you guys and discuss all about technology and what's new and what's not. It's lovely to see you all.
It's good to have questions from the community, and it's like Steve's ignoring his family for Thanksgiving as well. So
Yeah.
like,
Exactly. It worked out. Everything worked out okay. So no, it's I'm with Joery on that one. No, thanks. We should definitely do this again. It was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fun.
definitely. If the community likes it, I see that at least 33 people are watching right now, and the recordings will be available at YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter, or X, I guess.
Those
So
guys.
yeah, guys,
Blue Sky.
yeah, or Blue Sky surely as well. I don't know. Need to re-up.
link to YouTube from it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks guys for joining, and everyone else listening in. Thank you as well. Thanks for the questions, and I guess we will see you next time.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.